and this is an initiative from PlanSpecialNeeds, and we have named it as Parents Corner. Good morning to all of you on Tuesday morning. And this Parents Corner is an initiative where we are going to talk to parents who have raised a special needs child, their challenges, their planning for the future, and what they think about financial and estate planning and their journey up till now while raising a special needs child. So today with me is Mr. Kirit Barot, and who is based in New Zealand. Uh, he is a parent of a wonderful daughter, Pavitra, and Kirit has been with us for last almost 2 years now, and we have seen how he has gone through this journey and how we have planned together. So welcome you, Kirit, to this session of Parents Corner. You are the first parent we are interviewing in our initiative, and through this initiative, we are going to help families understand how parents are planning for their future when they have a special needs child to care. What has been their journey, and how what they have planned up till now, what they are going to what they are thinking of the future, which give them an idea that why planning is so important when you have a special needs child to care, and what are the areas you should plan, you should be prepared for. So with me, Shilpa Wagh, who is
Hi.
work with Plan Special Needs and also with the Special Needs Estate Planners Private Limited. Okay, over to you, Shilpa.
Yes.
And let's ask Kirit Barot the questions we want to ask, and we want to help families understand more.
Yes. Yes. Thanks, Jitendra, and welcome, sir. Kirit, sir, welcome to the
Thank
show.
you. Sir, sir, वरना बोले तो अच्छा है because I feel a bit uncomfortable,
Okay. Okay. So I call you Kirit. Is that fine for you?
Name that should be fine,
Yeah.
ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत बहुत आपसे बड़े हैं ऐसा लगता है. Don't reveal that.
Okay. Sir, so what we are trying to do is we are trying to understand, make understand certain families that how the importance of financial planning and estate planning, because that is the first hurdle a family has to cross to understand the importance of it before they can actually start their journey. So
Yeah.
you have been already through this, and through you, we want to understand how was your journey. Like Pavitra, how did you discovered? I mean, what symptoms you saw in her, and because of that, you had to actually do the necessary investigations to find out what is the, how she is different, and how it happened. What was your reaction normally?
Well, it was all 20 years back now. And see, the birth of a child with disability has probably changed the course of our life, But the destination, like all other parents, is same: creating the best opportunity for our children and providing long-term security for them. So that's in that sense, like, we parents are not different than other parents, In our case, our daughter was born near normal, a normal birth was there. The months passed, and she started missing on the milestones. A gradual process of discovering that something was wrong. Within 4 or 5 months, we felt that things were not quite the way it should be, and specialists were involved. We were in Bombay only. She was born she was born in Bridge Candy, Bombay. So all those, we very soon the specialists were involved, and we did see a lot of specialists, but at that early stage, it was very difficult for them to figure out what was happening, and she did not fit into any particular label as such, So kind of it was all a journey of exploration, but we knew that she's delayed, the milestones were delayed. So her speech was delayed, her other activities like, where crawling was delayed. So the physiotherapy and all those therapies started right away, and it put a lot of, that's how the discovery started, So we knew that she's kind of something is not quite right, and we were generally told that looks like some learning disability. Everything else looks okay, like
Okay.
and she doesn't have the normal cerebral palsy or other things which you can straight pick up. So that's how, I mean, basically it came down to intellectual disability. I mean, or, learning disability or intellectual disability, whatever you name it.
Okay.
So the same old, the physio and speech and you name it, and we had therapies all around, and as a result, we ended up staying in Bombay. We're not originally from Bombay. Of course, my wife's from Bombay. My in-laws is from Bombay. So we kind of, I used to work in the merchant navy that time. I used to sail on the ships, So I had to take a little bit of break, and then, but of course, so this is a long drawn process of 2-3 years, and everything was delayed, and eventually things were coming, but after a long time, and as Anika, she spoke and she walked and she crawled, but much longer than when it was expected, so everything was delayed, so that's how we started discovering that things are not quite right, and basically it amounted to a lot of physiotherapy and speech therapy, and staying in Bombay. Family separation came, and then I had to go on the ship, and my wife was the one who was doing all the running around, and so she did the heavy lifting for next 2-3 years, and still nobody could tell us exactly what was wrong as such. It was kind of general thing, so basically it was like learning disability or intellectual disability of some kind, and so we reached a stage when we didn't bother about investigation anymore. It was no point. I mean, no point doing it. We knew more or less our daughter more than the specialist to some extent. You go to a specialist for half an hour, and he's not going to make a big call like that. So that's how it. At times it was overwhelming, no doubt. It involved. It involved like kind of family separation. My wife was the one who was carrying the most of the burden. I was working at sea, so all these things were there, and I mean but what happened in our case, child? The progress was slow, and many things came when she was ready, at its own pace, in spite of the therapies. That's my conclusion, which I maybe because every child is unique,
Yes.
So we had lots of therapies, but we did not see any progress, And eventually, when she walked or talked or whatever it was, it came at its own pace, So we feel that probably when she was ready, it came,
Yes.
But she was always lagging behind, So that's how our journey started in this. And that was first 2, 3, 4 years,
So as parents, obviously, you were definitely taking it as a challenge, or one day at a time, kind of see how she progresses, and then
we were exploring that, because it was all new for us, and we were exploring, and it was challenging. It was overwhelming at times, and we were. I mean, of course, we at that early stage we never thought about what future holds, and we really never gave that much of serious thought on it, because we had a lot of water to go under the bridge. She's just 2, 3, 4 years, and you can't. And she's kind of, in that sense, she's kind of normal, like
she was slowly and steadily picking up.
Of those big labels, so we were not, in that sense, we didn't really worry us that much. So, but of course, there are times when that thought does pass your mind,
Yes. But how was your immediate family, other family? I mean, your parents, your in-laws, your friends, society? Was there anything from that side you felt?
Yeah. Now, when I look back at it, I had a lot of support from my in-laws, because they are Bombay based, and we were staying in Bombay. My mother-in-law was the rock, like, But my side of the family, I did not get any much support. I can say with, and we have talked about this, and maybe the understanding was not there, or maybe we were not there. We were physically away from them, and they were not involved as such, because we could be on one place only. So we were in Bombay, and as far as friends were concerned, we never asked for any support from any of the friends, and we never asked for support. And I'm sure the friends would have supported if you would asked for, but we never asked for because it's like I mean, a lot of young parents who are special needs child will understand this. It's like announcing to the world that you have a special need child, and initially you don't want to go and announce it, so you think that everything will be all right, and there's no need to tell anybody that she can't do this and he can't nahi kar sakta hai, ye nahi ho sakta hai, wo nahi, so that kind of thing also kept us from really seeking help, from other friends and anybody you can think of. So that was the reason, and we never really approached our friends, for help. And I'm sure if we had approached, we would have got help. But that time you're young and bulletproof. You think you can do everything, and you're on your own. So that thing was also there.
And I think every instance in our life that
the young parents will be surely asked for help if you really, whether it can be your family or your close family or close friend. You have to ask for help if you really need one, because people bit hesitate.
So that would be your guidance to the younger parents.
Absolutely. Ask. Do not hesitate, and you'll be surprised. People really rise up to the occasion, and they wants to be a better person,
And there are support groups and like-minded parents.
Of course, that time all that thing didn't exist. I'm talking about mid 90s and late 90s, and so we didn't have all that structure in place. Of course, now last 5-10 years there's a huge leap there, and that's very good to hear. But that time I think we would have struggled to find any support group.
Correct. So every instance that happens in our life, it gets into some kind of a learning for us. So growing up with her, I would say, as a human being, I think I'm sure you and your wife has also grown up with your daughter to cope up with different things. So how was the growing up experience with her? Was there any kind of difficulty? Was there a kind of enjoyment also? And how did you manage growing up with her?
Oh, it was challenging, no doubt. Of course, like any parents, we had our good times and bad times, and I mean, especially in the early years, But of course, we surely enjoyed. Our daughter has given us lots of love, and in return we have loved her to pieces. Unconditional love, it's all uncluttered, uncluttered without any calculation.
Yes.
I mean, normally as the kids grow up and they get smart and they get manipulative and all those things. But in our case, it's just a pure love, So that's surely we have enjoyed it. And what I'm going to say, this may sound a bit strange, but whenever possible, I have used my position as a parent of a special need to change the society's outlook on the disability,
That's great, actually.
And that has given me a lot of enjoyment and happiness, I try to change their way about how they feel about disability. The general society, your friends, or whosoever you come in contact, and I feel I have the obligation to do that. And it gives me a lot of happiness doing the right thing, and I felt that was the right thing. So I enjoyed that part. That was kind of, that's difficult to believe, but that is something which I've done it,
Yes, sir, I think that is a very important point you have made, because during our course of profession, we have seen many young parents, like you were strong enough, your bonding was strong enough, but there are some younger generation people who are not able to cope with this, and it sometimes their marriage life gets drifted away, and they face a lot of
Absolutely.
challenges putting up together.
That's
uh,
true. That's
so your kind of support and the kind of work you are saying, this kind of counseling coming from a person who has already been there and done it, will
mm,
definitely is really great work. I
mm,
think I must
mm,
appreciate
mm,
that.
mm.
So overall what we gather from here is, it's the parents who understand the child the most. So the
Absolutely.
parents have to be with the child, and parents have to grow up with the child
Mm,
and
mm.
accept things the day as it comes, and wait for the just be with the child, and that
That,
unconditional love part that you said, I think that is
mm,
the most important part of
mm,
it. And
mm.
society is changing, as you rightly said. There are some support groups, the acceptance level is much more. It's not, I think it's more in the minds of parents sometimes, and the society, that it's a
Older
stigma
generation,
and
younger
all that.
generation, I think younger generation is still, I think, kind of, they look at things differently.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
that is very helpful. Now,
Mm.
you have moved, like currently you said that you are last many years you are in outside India, right? So, do you think that such disability or diagnosis of such disability can change the course of career for parents or something like that?
Well, surely it does affect, no, I mean, no, absolutely it will. In most of the cases, it will the forces will be to curtail the career, most of the cases, in our case, my wife was, of course, she could not do any professional things because she was a housewife and she had to stay there. So that was that. But I mean, at the same time, for us, because the we did not see at that time. I'm talking about in late 90s, and yeah, late 90s, or we did not see much of a future for our child in India,
Hmm.
because there was not even, I mean, forget about there were not even proper schools there. The education was a big problem, and then there was no special needs school, or there were no inclusive schools. Or if they were there, they were far few and far in between. So we were we so we had it we more or less, it kind of drove us to leave India
Mm-hmm.
at that time, and we did it for our our daughter, I
Hmm.
mean, so so whether, I mean, whether that helped our, in the end, if you look back now after 20 years, if you look back, yes, surely that was the motivating factor, and as a result we are now better off. So in a way, I kind of, at the because of my daughter, I kind of reached where I am now, because
Yes.
that gave me extra impetus that no, I have to get out of here, and there's nothing here, and so me and my wife, both of us felt so so that so that way it worked out for me. But not everybody is that lucky, everybody doesn't have that kind of opportunity. So
Yes.
I was lucky to grab it, and it worked for me, and here I am.
And then how did you start thinking about the financial planning journey for your daughter yourself? What triggered it, or it was always there on your mind and you were doing it?
It has always been there, you know it has always been there on my mind, I mean, as any parents, you're
Hmm.
always thinking whether you're you're saving enough for not only for your future, your retirement, but also for your full life of your child,
Yes.
so I mean, that question always haunted us, and any expense we did, or anything we did, I mean, we thought, oh, can we afford to do that? We have to save. We have such a responsibility, and so that was always the case,
Hmm.
and one thing is for sure, little that is worthwhile happens without planning and thought.
Okay.
So that is so as far as, I mean, any planning for that
Yes.
matter.
Yes.
Yeah? So you have to, any parent who will reach a stage when they have to think about that okay, I mean, when you're young, okay, you're not thinking that far, when you're in 30s and 40s, you're not thinking, but when you're approaching 50s, you start thinking about, okay, what will happen when I retire? Do I have enough? So that's where the financial planning thing comes up, So that kind of, that was something which we already had in mind, and we thought we were doing good,
Yeah.
I mean, and but see, it was all guesswork, and that there was no serious financial planning as such, so that's how, I mean, it was.
It got,
We
yeah.
were, I mean, I would call ourselves a bit of progressive parents. So we were thinking about it for quite some time, and it was matter of time, opportunity, or matter of time when we had to do it,
Yes.
So just to remove all the, I mean, it's not that we didn't do, nothing was that, no planning was there before we came to financial planning. There was planning,
Of
there
course.
was, we were planning on our own, and but we didn't knew. I mean, you think of an amount, and we don't know what that amount has to be. If you think that after, when we retire, and our 20 years of retirement, and our daughter's whole life, how much money you would need, to carry on the standard of living which we are living. So we could not put a figure to the number, and that's where the financial planning comes in. Okay, this is what you need,
Yes.
So there's no more imagination or guesswork as far as figures are concerned. This is what it is, and so that's, I mean, it was to happen, and when we 2-3 years back, and because this is, I mean, all this is also coming lately, last 5-6 years only, all this financial planning, what special need and all this specialized planning, because you can't go to any planner to do it, because there are lots of planner, but they have no idea about the special need and child, and those kind of things, So we found Jitendra, and who was dealing with the special needs. So I said, okay, that's good. And one of the time, 2-3 years back, when we visited, we got in contact and set the ball in motion.
So financial planning has definitely helped you to just reaffirm whether whatever you were doing as a plan, yourself, you are doing the financial planning, whether it is on track or some changes have to be made. So what
Correct.
would be your?
I mean, not only that.
Yeah.
You see, there people look at it like, I mean, yes, it tells you whether you're on the track, and you're doing good, or you're not doing good. Okay. Or it even tells you that you are doing very well. So it's time to enjoy now. Have a good time with your daughter, or whatever the child be, and rather than leaving a huge amount and let everybody, whether she will make the best of it or not. So it's I mean, there may be few parents who may be in that position, so that will also come into play, like, okay, so now, I mean, if you know that, oh, okay, I got enough of planning, enough of resources, then might well as enjoy now, and give the best of the life to your child now, when you yourself give it, rather than leaving it for somebody else to give it. So that element can also happen,
Yes. So definitely that is very important to cherish those wonderful moments with your daughter.
Absolutely. Because what we as a parents will do for her, I really don't know whether anybody can do it.
Yes, of course. There is no alternative to parental love, actually.
Money is not everything,
That's right. So that is what actually got you on the journey of financial planning. Now, what do you think, younger generation, you think they should, this is the right time to start at your age, or it's better that they start much earlier in their life thinking about the financial planning aspect of it? What can be the right time they start about
There's nothing wrong in starting earlier. at least having some idea as to the tools of financial planning, but I mean, your prime age for earning is about after 40 only, and up till 40 you are probably building a family, a house, and all those things. So that foundation is being laid, is being laid. So there is, you yourself are not thinking about your own retirement when you are in less than 40 or 30, 35. You very rarely you think. By default, if some tools are there, they are going on, but you're not really thinking. But there is no harm in not thinking about it, and being more smartly investing in the tools. Like, I mean, surely it's going to help anybody, but you reach a stage when you have to do it. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not that we were not financially investing before we did the financial planning. We were doing it on our own, and we kind of found out on our own what is the best way to do it. So, but I'm sure it's going to help younger parents also. I'm not saying that. I'm sure it's going to surely help anybody for that matter.
So that's wonderful, talking about other aspects of financial, other than financial matters. Now that we are on the topic of financial journey, I invite Jitendra, because he has been the, I think, partner with you for last 3-4 years on this journey. So Jitendra, over to you for
Yes,
other
thank you,
questions.
Shilpa. Yes, me and Kirit have been engaged, and we have gone through the financial planning. Yes, one thing is very important, that families have a different, their financial situation. The situation which Kirit is in, a younger parent, might come much early, or they would come late in life. The benefit of financial planning, as Kirit said, is that it helps you to prepare for the future. Because if you are a salaried individual, let's say in India, if you're a salaried individual, you have those limited resources. Now, within these limited resources, you have to provide for yourself also, and you have to provide for the child also. Okay. When there is no large inheritance coming in, there is no money coming in, that resources only will provide in the long term, be it your retirement or be it your special time. So what happens is that you need time to accumulate money, accumulate copper. That's where the longer the time you give, for your money to accumulate, uh, the better it is. The more you are, able to generate the surplus for yourself and for your session child. That's where the benefit of financial planning comes in, and plus whatever eventualities of life we plan for when we are doing financial planning. So you are able to prepare that framework much early in life. So you are well prepared for, instead of reaching late, and then probably you're worrying about, I have not been able to accumulate that money because I didn't was not able to save, the expenses were higher. So if you do it much early, at least you are aware of why it is not happening. If you are aware of, you can take those strategies well, in your financial management. So if you are not saving enough, you can adjust your cash flows today so that you are able to save more for tomorrow. That's where it benefits. Uh, Going ahead with it, Kirit, yes, you have very well explained the benefit of financial, planning. But let's talk about the other, area where the most concern comes in, and it is what after us. Now, did you had, conversation with your family about your caregiving and end of life decisions? Did you had it now when we did financial planning, or you had it earlier with your family members, with the person you have identified who's going to, care for Pravita after your lifetime? So when did you started that conversation, and probably, how did it happen? So just give a, brief about that, because that's the most biggest concern for families, that what after us. So, and we have seen quite a few families not starting this discussion. They have identified people but have not started this discussion. So how important is it, and how you did it?
Oh, this is like all parents. This is another question which keeps us awake all night. And as you age, this is something which everybody has to tackle.
Yes.
And we have the question has always been on our mind, and we may have not vocally spoken about it, because 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 you're thinking that you are still okay. Like if you're in the 40s and 50s, you're not thinking that you're going to, I mean, both of you are going to just vanish without all of a sudden, so in that sense you think that as long as you are there, I mean, nobody else will be, nobody, I mean, you can, I mean, the things can be taken care,
Yeah.
This is only after we pass away. So once you pass 50s and mid 50s, and then you start thinking that now it's time to identify, and that's the journey which we have taken, because I'm not sure whether at age of 40 you can start selecting somebody. Things change. A lot of things change. People move out and grow out and get married, and you think of somebody as a person. You think that, oh, he's a nice guy, and he has empathy, and he will be guardian. But then he grows up and marries and goes to XYZ, and then he's like, the calculation doesn't work. So we have started this journey very seriously last 2, 3, 4 years, and we have spoken with our extended family, and they are all very aware, especially the next generation. The people who are of our age is like, they won't be the guardian. I mean, it'll be the next generation, or same as my daughter's age. They are her cousins, or our nephews, and I mean, they will be the. So we have started this last 3, 4 years back, and spoken with the extended family, or even we have got few very good friends whom we have also spoken and identified, and they are also like, as you know, that we had even set up a trust, and they are the trustees, and we have even identified the future welfare guardians and all. So yes, we have started that, and last 4 years, I can say I have been more open with my friends as well as my family side, that because our daughter is the only child, we don't have any other sibling, or she doesn't have any siblings. So for us it was like, I mean, if you have a sibling, there's little chemistry, little changes. So we have started speaking about it, and letting them know that this is what is working in our mind, and we have started putting tools in place for that. Like the trust or will, or and few other things. So, and identifying people in the trust, and even selecting the future trustees, mentioning in the trust documents itself that these are the future trustees, or in our will, or in a letter of intent, and so yes, we have embarked on the journey, however unpleasant it is, but yes, we have embarked, and we have and we have had good, I mean, it's the next generation, so we have had very good response, and so that's, I'm sure, and it's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process. Let me tell you, it's not that, I mean, somebody who identified, and another 10 years, that person is, we have 2 or 3 people in mind, and then, we are always on the lookout. We got a couple of very good friends, and they would also, not necessarily family only, they would also fit in very well, and they will volunteer, they will rise to the occasion. So, but we have started exploring. There's no doubt about that. Thinking about it.
Yeah. So, do you feel that because you at your age, now started discussing? So, do you feel these end of life decisions parents should start early, because identifying people, and the changes which may happen, or they have their own families, so they can go through. So do you feel that these kind of decisions should start much early in life, so that even if changes happen, you are able to identify an alternative, or you can discuss with more people? So do you think it should start much early?
Actually, I would like to just add up a little bit to this, what Jitendra is asking. What you say is correct, sir, because life changes, everybody's life changes. So, identifying somebody to take care of the child after us at the age of 40 may be difficult. But what do you think? Because last 1 year has taught us so much that the life uncertainties can come at any age, isn't it? It's not that only after 50 they are going to come. So, in that aspect, what can be said about it?
There's nothing wrong in always be on the lookout for a people whom you think would fit in very well, and that will surely be your immediate family or immediate very close friend and all. There's nothing wrong in that, but to I don't know, because I mean, the way I felt it when I was there, I mean, surely you can start early, but I have a, I have a feeling that things will change. So whatever choice you make in the 40s and 50s is not going to be the final choice.
Yes.
It will change, because people move on and people. So I mean, and at the same time, I agree with you. There are uncertainties in life, and but as a two parents, you think that okay, I mean, it'll be. I mean, I can't. The chances of both the parents dying together, in are of course are there. Theoretically there, but I mean, you can never plan for these kind of eventualities. You should be, in some sense, you should be financially wise. You can plan for that, but I mean, these aspects like this, I have. It's not that I have not thought about it. When I was 40s and 50s, we were all the time looking, and other thing which I must mention here, that these relationships have to be invested. There's a lot of investment to be done in these relationships. It's not this is a burden which you are putting on somebody, and you have to think very, very serious about it. It's a lifetime burden on you are trying to put on somebody about your child after your death. So the relationship has to be built with that person. And it requires some investment. You just can't say to a person that, look, we feel you are the right person, and will you be, but you have to invest in that relationship over the years, and bring them close and take them into confidence, and so then only you can tell them that you are one of the person on our mind, or you will be the trustee, and so that process also has to happen.
But as you said, I think talking to people is one thing, but we have gone through the financial and estate planning. At least the tools you use for planning for your special child future after your lifetime, that should be there. The framework should be there, with you all the time. So, and that's where you prepare for the eventualities. Anything happen, that framework is ready with you. Okay.
No, absolutely. The tools should be there. I mean, that's like financial planning, the financial aspects, a few other things, whatever you can think of. But there has to be. I mean, I really don't think any parent, for that matter, forget special need parent more so. They're always thinking about these questions.
Yeah.
All the. So if you tell me that they are not thinking, they are not, that are very, very difficult to believe. They're all the time thinking. Even they are in 40s and 50s, they're thinking, and unconsciously they're all the time working towards it.
Yes.
So that is all the time happening. But informally and formally, as far as like guardianship, or the welfare, selecting a welfare guardian, or after you are no more there, I think, I mean, it effectively happens only after 50, 55, and that's when you start thinking, but financial planning, you start much earlier the better, there's no doubt about it,
Yeah. Okay. Let's come to letter of intent, and when we did financial planning, so you already have that letter of intent prepared. In India, families are witnessing it, for the first time what letter of intent is, or letter of wishes, as we say. Okay, so just give a glimpse at how this letter of intent document really help the families, because we have been trusting families that when you are start thinking of planning, the first document you should write is your letter of intent, letter of wishes. It also clears your aspect, plus you also are able to provide a resource for for your family members or others to understand more. So how important is this letter of intent or letter of wishes? And you know so what do you feel, what do you think on that?
Oh, letter of intent, or sometimes it's called letter of memorandum of
Yeah.
wishes. However hard it is, however hard it is to make, people, parents are paralyzed at the thought of a letter of intent. That's what it is. Basically, when my wife still struggles with the letter of intent. She 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 can, because you're talking about end of your life, and so those are very difficult things to comprehend and put it in words. So and that's where a lot of parents are quite, as a result, they get pushed back, and they when they should be making a letter of intent, they don't make it because they are too
Hmm.
scared to make it. But if you ask me and my wife, this is one of the most important document I must have ever made. It's more important than my will, more important than my trust. you know it's a living document which I visit every twice or thrice a year, do some changes, and whatever, update it. And this is an opportunity to leave a legacy of all that we have accomplished for our child, and that all that we desire for our child in the future. This is for the, I mean, the people whom we identify, the trustees or the guardians, which we call dream carriers.
Hmm.
They will be the dream carriers for my daughter. They will carry her dreams or our dreams. So that's what it is. So that will be the guiding document to them. The letter of intent. Legally aspect, yes, probably legally it doesn't have much standing, but morally it has a very high standing. So so letter of intent is something which I would surely advocate everybody to make it without any delay. However hard it is, it's a story of our daughter, our vision. Vision is the articulation of our deepest desire. See, this is what we want to put down. A future full of possibilities. That's what we. It's a guiding document to the future dream carriers. So, I mean, I can't stress more about letter of intent or letter of memorandum
You
issues.
have
And this,
rightly you have
here,
rightly
earlier
said.
made it is more better.
Yeah.
You can always chop change, and it's a living document. You can always keep on visiting it and refine it,
Yeah.
condense it. And I tell you, when you look, when it is done, and you will feel very happy about it. Any parents will feel happy about it. So this is something which you have to do.
Mhm. No, it's a wonderful document, and you wonderfully described it, how important this document is, and how it really helps families. Okay. Uh, so coming to the next question, yes, this is one of the important hurdles we have been facing, from the families, and yes, there are legalities involved, you know. But what in your mind, is that how difficult it is to find a suitable guardian for your special needs child, See, legally there are laws pertaining to it, who can be guardian, who cannot be a guardian. But a legal guardian for a special needs child is different than a legal guardian for just a minor child. Okay. So, in your views, how difficult it is to find, and probably what you have to look into when you are identifying a suitable guardian, because we have seen families, identifying which sibling is there, fine, but even that also a challenging phase. But they would identify, somebody from family members, and it is always a challenging, phase for the families to identify someone.
Absolutely. I mean, it is an, I mean, you will never feel 100% good about anyone whom you think, you, because you always tend to compare it with yourself.
Yes.
They will never replace the parents.
Yes.
Let me put it this way. So in that sense, that shortcoming will always be felt, but it's an, as I said, it's a journey which you have to do with them for many years, and you have to nurture the journey, it has to be nurtured. The relationship has to be nurtured, it demands investment, it's just can't, you can't, and it's, I mean, it is difficult, and things change, as I said, I mean, you identify somebody, and 2 3 4 years and everything is going well, and of course the one of the prime character you have to look at it is like the person has empathy. Empathy is very important. That's what we always look, and I mean, I at least look for it, understanding, I mean, of course all this will come, it can come from a close friend, family member. Some of the younger generations, present day younger generations, I think they are much different, so there are so many things to look at it, and you have to, I mean, if you look around in your family, extended family, I'm sure you will find a lot of people, and one thing I've seen, the people, whenever you put the responsibility on them, they rise to the occasion. If you tell them that, look, this is what we are thinking, they usually rise to the occasion and try to be a better person as a result, so this is their opportunity. So it's
So,
not, it is difficult if in selecting person, because it's a burden you are trying to put on them,
right.
so you have to think very very seriously,
Right. So, do you feel, as a parent, you manage all the affairs, be it financial, be it personal, or whatever. But do you feel it's important that when you are identifying a guardian, don't look as your replacement? Don't think that he or she can manage all the affairs, but the way you have formed, so you have formed a trust, you have a will, so you have created a framework where the burden on legal guardian is less. He is more concerned on personal affairs. So do you feel it's really important that he shouldn't be looked at as a replacement of parent, but more as a guiding support or a decision maker for your child?
because in the end, actually, it has to be a team, it will have to be a team, it just can't be one or two person, it'll have to be it'll have to be family support, circle of friends, community network, to act as a safeguard,
True.
and this is what I mean, basically will have to be checks and balances there, so it's just not one or two person who will,
Right.
you will hand over everything to them, it'll be I mean, we realize that our 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 daughter will always be reliant on family support, a circle of friends, and all those things, and they will all act as a guardian or welfare guardian or even a professional guardian. I mean, I mean, this is a new concept which is coming, I mean, there are professional people who can do it for you, and as you say that, a lot of, well, sometimes not everybody has time to do it, so
True.
so I mean, I'm surely open to that also, and in our trust we have some that kind of arrangement written into it, that if need be, a professional be hired to look into all these things, or day-to-day management, or, so yes, surely, I mean, that's the way forward, I think.
Okay. Yes, so we are almost coming to the end of it. You have answered wonderfully. You explained that it is going to help a lot of families in understanding what exactly is it. Shilpa, any last
Yeah,
question from
just
your side?
one thing, Kirit has given, I think, very insightful and I think I'm sure parents will definitely start thinking in a different and more inspired way after listening to this conversation. So, one last thing, Kirit, would you like to tell all the other parents? One very important thing when they identify that they are going to be the caregivers to a special need child from the family dynamics point of view. Any one important thing you would like to tell?
From the family dynamic, I mean, to tell you frankly, yeah, this sometimes does bring a lot of yeah, issues for especially for when it comes to Indian perspective. I see the family dynamics does play a role. I mean, we have been lucky, I mean, my wife sometimes gets a bit disturbed with the family dynamics and how things are there, but I have not given, for some reason, I've never from the beginning allowed that family dynamics to affect upbringing of our daughter. I mean, we have done it our way, the way we felt. So, I mean, one of the things which I'll surely tell people, that parents, you have to be a fierce and passionate advocate for your child.
Mhm.
If you do that, everything will fall on the side. You know, as you say, people who mind don't matter. People who matter don't mind.
Absolutely.
So you have to keep
Absolutely.
those people in a close vicinity. People who mind for all these things, all other, they don't matter to you. They are distraction, actually. So that's the way I think, we have. My wife, I mean, having said that, my wife does get bit disturbed with the family dynamics sometimes, and way people try to treat a special need child, and so it does affect her. But for me, I go head on. I mean, if I see somebody kind of doing that, I make sure I teach them a lesson, or more or less tell them that that's not the right way to do it. So I have not allowed that to cloud my judgment. Up till now, I've been quite, God willing, it has worked out well for us. So, but of course, the parents have to be a fierce advocate. That is what I would surely tell any young parents, that you have to be a fierce advocate for your child. Passionate about it. There is no halfway here.
Wonderful.
It's wonderful. Yeah, really.
Wonderful.
Jitendra, I think that's a great advice all the parents are
Yes.
going to get. And
I
any
think
other
we have
question?
few of the few parents who have joined.
Okay.
Yes, Ashok ji, you wanted to say something, or you have.
Yeah, it's a wonderful discussion, Mr. Kirit ji. Uh, I think just the many questions, probably I'll have to take your contact number to discuss the things. But few things that has come up right now is what made you to shift from India to, I suppose, New Zealand you are in.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I mean, because we were when our child was born, we were in India, and we like, I come from a merchant navy, so I was sailing on the ships, and we were always traveling the world, and me and my wife, even my daughter has even sailed with us on the ships, so. And then when she was born, and after 4 or 5 years, she was in India, I was still sailing, and so we were not, like, I was not in that sense, I was overseas for quite some time before that also. And then when we had this, when we had a daughter, we had our daughter, and we said, okay, and mid 90s and late 90s, in the India, there was no schooling, there was no special needs school, or there were no inclusive school, and there's so many things we did not see how things are going to work for us, so we had to move out, that drove us. And as a result, we ended where we are now, and and it's a beautiful place, tell you frankly. I mean, it's got a lot of structure support and everything. It's my daughter is more or less leading a normal life here. Sometimes I feel, when I look at her, she goes to the day program, and when I look at her program and timetable, I feel, oh bloody hell, I never had a life like that. So in that sense, yes, it has worked out well. the society is so much acceptable here. There's people. I mean, there's that mindset is not there. It's like everybody is like kind of equal. So that is what we had. What had drove us out of India. Having said that, now when we think of our our exit strategy as Jitendra has put a word, we sometimes feel in our absence which will be the better place for her. Will it be New Zealand or will it be India? So that is the dilemma we are having at present, and both because our extended family is all in India.
Right.
We are only one here. Even though she's got all the structure here, all support, and she's got friends and everything, but there are times when we waver that her social and emotional well-being, will it be catered here? Because all her family is all there, all people whom we have identified or dream carriers, quite a bit are far off. So how is that going to work? So that is what our dilemma is now at present, whether having moved to New Zealand, there are times now we think that we may end up going back to India. And of course the Indian scenario is changing now, and there are lots of places and lots of opportunities and lots of groups, and so much of awareness is coming, and come 5-10 years more, it's going to be more and more. So that is also giving us hope, but that is some option which we have kept it open. We are still all the time exploring.
But is it that the social security scheme at present there's nothing like social security scheme for special need people in India? Is it in place in other countries by the government?
Yeah. Oh, it is very much there. I mean, she gets lots of support and care and support workers coming, and there's heaps and heaps of more. India is, I think, just basic. I would say, there's I don't know. I mean, so no. I mean, that all is very much here, and she enjoys what she does, and she went to a very good school, and I mean, all that structure is fantastic here, and we know, I know for sure, even if we didn't have had any money, she would still be taken care of very well here, by the state or the machinery itself, So in that sense, all those structures are there very much,
Okay.
But it's the social and emotional well-being where we think she will enjoy more the quality of life. I mean, that's what making us drive towards India. But I mean, it has to be seen.
Right.
Easier said than done.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Kirit. It has been a wonderful interacting with you. And I hope the first session of Parents Corner, and what insight you have given to the family, to the parents. We do hope they would be able to understand more how to go about it. And plus, you have been through the complete journey of raising a special needs child, going through financial estate planning and working out end of the life decisions. So it's really important for at least for the younger parents, to understand all these aspects, and this last 1 hour we had wonderful interaction with you, and so many thanks, Kirit. We would be interacting more with you in coming future on different aspects. Right. Thanks, Shilpa, for wonderful host for this session. Thanks, Ashokji. You have been always there in all the session and listening patiently to it. Kirit, just for a introduction, Ashokji is also a parent, of a special needs child. So Aditya is there. He always joins sessions with Ashokji. So it has been a wonderful session. Thanks all of you of listening, to us, and we will be again coming up with.
Your name is Kirit, or no?
Yes, Aditya.
His name is Kirit, or no?
You ask?
Kirit sir, Kirit Barot.
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Aditya Shah from Dr. Shah's son.
Oh, okay, there you are. Okay, hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. You're in New Zealand?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm in New Zealand.
Okay.
Mm.
Wonderful.
Ah,
Okay. Thanks you all. Thanks all the viewers. Thanks Kirit. Thanks Shilpa.
thank
Thanks
you.
Ashokji.
Hope I lived up to the expectations, you know.
Yes, certainly. The discussion was wonderful and the insight was, wonderful. We loved it, and I am surely hopeful that all the viewers who are watching us on Facebook Live, all the parents, they would have loved the discussion. Thank you all. We'll
My
come
pleasure
up
too.
again with
Thank you.
another important discussion.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you very much. All the best. My pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you.